What's up, bodyweight warriors? Welcome back to another video and another follow along. Today I've got a combination workout for you that is using some core aspects covering all of those fundamental patterns, combining it with some flexibility in that rest period to get the best of both worlds. It's very much inspired from this video right here that was recently on the channel covering the reasons as to why you want to include these core movements. So if you want to know more, check that out. Otherwise, let's jump straight into this routine. Let's start getting warmed up with some good old-fashioned hip swivels just to get the back and the hips moving. So dropping both legs to one side, trying to keep the sternum facing forward, supporting yourself with the hands, keeping the torso nice and upright. So we're just going to do 10 of these. And the intention here is that this workout is like something that you might add at the end of your training. So I'm going to assume that you're slightly warm already, although you should be able to warm up as we get going with the exercises. Essentially, the way this is going to work is we're going to do a core movement, and then we're going to do a flexibility position, and a core movement, and a flexibility position, etc., etc. So we're going to cover all of those fundamental patterns. Right, I'm going to do a few more here per side, and then we're going to jump into the first core exercise, which is going to be focused on the articulation of the abdominals, the lower abdominals, and the hip flexors. So for this one, we're going to be lying on our back and we're bringing those knees up. Now, we're going to do essentially a leg raise here, but there is something that's absolutely crucial for this one. We're going to place both hands underneath the lower back. So palms are pressed down. When we lift the knees up, I want you to think about pressing and crushing those hands. And then as you perform this movement, you're going to keep that pressure on the entire time. If you feel like the pressure drops off, you're going to move to a single leg version. So you're going to push down with the hands, you're going to lower one leg, keep one leg up, and alternate. Nice and simple. This helps us focus and make sure we're targeting the lower abdominals and helping them to work with the hip flexors. So that's absolutely crucial. If that was too easy for you, we'd go the opposite. So instead of doing this 90-degree position, we try to open the legs out, eventually working to a straight leg version. But don't try to ego your way and do harder than you can actually do good form. So let's go. So nice 2 seconds on the way down, touch the heels, come back up. This one shouldn't be easy. This is all about making sure that we're doing this with quality and keeping ourselves honest by making sure that we apply pressure with the hands. So really try to push that lower back down into the hands. As you can see by my voice, it's not easy. So 10 to 15, or one the set lasting about 45 to 60 seconds. So keep going. Perfect. Okay, in our rest period, before we go into the next exercise, we're just going to do some flexibility. So I want you to come forward and we come into a forward fold as far down as we can. If you can comfortably touch the floor, grab the floor. If you can't, we're just going to grab some yoga blocks just to support ourselves. We're going to do some elephant walks. So we're going to bend one knee, this knee's going forward, straighten the other leg, this knee's going back. And keep ourselves in a nice forward fold position. So we're going to start greasing the groove of those hamstrings and the hips. And again, we're going to do this for 45 to 60 seconds in total. And this is our rest period. And then we're going to jump into exercise number 2. As I said, it's a nice combination of doing both core and flexibility at the same time. So this one's really important. As we feel like we're pushing that leg back, use the quad to straighten the leg. Really try to push back into the outside of that hip. You might feel it in the glute as well as the hamstrings. So keep going here. Back and forth, nice and slowly. Really, these sort of workouts aren't about going hard, getting a sweat on. Try and, to gain a lot of density, and we're looking for quality of reps, and we're looking to educate our body to move in the correct patterns. Right, last one on each side here. Okay, perfect. Put these blocks to one side. Next, we're going to take a look at the obliques and also the adductors. So we're going to perform a nice side plank. So this standard sort of position, we're going to do lifts. So again, we're going to do 45 seconds in total per side, so 9 seconds in total. We're going to do lifts, so we're lowering down into this bent position. If we want to make things a bit harder, we're going to do this with a straight arm. So we're able to get more depth, more arch here through the back, and thinking about pushing up, making sure the hips are staying nice and through. So, pick an intensity that's right for you. I'm going to do a straight arm. I'm going to do 45 seconds. Nice, good control throughout. Lowering down, back up. You notice I'm not bouncing in and out. I'm not doing things quickly. Nice, slow, and controlled. Make sure we have good quality. Nice stretch over the entire obliques side, lower back. And using the glutes, using the side to push up in that top position. Another 10 seconds. Last one. Okay, perfect. Swap sides, whichever side you started with. Same intensity. Hand on the side. Use the bent arm if you need the bent arm. Straight arm to make it harder. Nice controlled layering down. Feel the arch in the back. Press the hand into the ground and away. Press the feet into the ground to lift yourself back up. Again, 45 seconds. There'll be the timer on the screen. Again, quality, no rush. We're going to do the same amount of time. Focus on quality of reps. Last one here. Beautiful. Okay, for this one, we're going to stretch out the adductors. So we're going to come into a frog pose position, nice and wide with the knees. I'm just going to work on pushing back, pushing through. Want to make sure it goes as wide as we can. Feet are staying in line with the knees. Push back, try to think about arching the back. Do a few reps. Come down, try to wiggle that knee out. And come back up. Keep repeating. Should be feeling a nice stretch in the glutes, and the adductors to the inner thigh. Probably also the hamstrings as well. Right. Another sort of 10 seconds here. About a minute's rest. And then we'll move into our final core exercise, final stretch, and then we're going to repeat all of that one more time. Keep moving those knees out if you can do. Last little bit here. Okay. Our next exercise we're going to be performing is a quadruped extension. So a bird dog would be another way to look at it. It's this when we're in this quadruped, this all four position, we're going to think about raising the opposite arm, opposite leg into a straight position. Now here the common mistake will be people really use their lower back and arch. I want you to think about trying to create a nice stable, solid foundation and kind of keeping this area rigid and then lifting the hand and leg up, glute on this side, and then the traps, the lower back on the other. 45 seconds per side here, starting on the weaker side. So I'm going to start on my left side. We're looking to keep everything nice, special, reaching out with the hand high as you can, leg as high as you can. Come back into the center. I don't want to see like any twisting. I don't want to see any twisting like this, twisting open. Try to keep everything nice and square. 45 seconds. for the glutes and the back of the shoulder. Potentially even the supporting arms. I'm a bit fatigued at this point. Keep going. Now 15 seconds. Little pause for 2 seconds on the top. Last rep here. Perfect. Shake it off. I'm going to swap sides. So right arm, or whichever the opposite to where you started. Same thing. Think about that quality, no twisting. Reaching as tall and as far away as you can with both the foot and the hand. "45 seconds. Good quality, no rushing again. Pausing in the top and the bottom. Keep going. Okay, last rep. Perfect. We're going to start with the same side that you started with. We're going to now think about loosening up those hip flexors. So we come into a lunge position, knees down on the back leg. I'm going to think about tucking the hips so glutes are engaged. I'm just going to try and rock forward so I feel a nice stretch over the hips, and then push back out. So this whole time, glutes are engaged, pushing the hips down, chest stays nice and upright, find a nice stretch, come back out. So I'm going to do 30 seconds per side. And if you really want to think about this one, like nice stretch here over this hip. And then as you come back up, think about driving that knee into the ground, pulling you back out of this stretch position. So another 10 seconds here. Okay, swap sides. So for me, that's right leg back, whichever one you did last. Same thing, glutes engaged, so tucking those hips under, keep the glutes squeezed. Think about those glutes pushing the hips down and forward into that stretch, and then pulling back out. It's also nice and upright. Trying not to just like arch through the back. Don't just dump it all into your lower back. Think about the hip flexors lengthening. So another 10 seconds. And last one here. Okay, we're going to take 30, 60 seconds. We're going to repeat all of those again. So, one, we've done this for time. So it's important that this needs to be hard. If you found you got to the end of the timer on the last round and you felt like you could do 5 or 6 more, make sure you make the exercise more challenging. Right, 3 more ab exercises, 3 more stretches, and then that's this little bit done. So let's go back to that lower abdominal lift, that lying position. Whatever you did last time, if it was hard, stay at it, focus on that quality. If it was easy, try to make things a little bit harder. Okay, hands underneath the lower back. Just lift the legs up, press down into them, set that leg shape, lower under control, and come back. Remember, this one's all about quality. Really focus on trying not to lose that pressure on the hands. That's the main thing here. Try to crush your hands as much as possible. Extend the legs out if you can, make them harder. If it's getting a bit hard, try to tuck them in, make it a bit easier. Keep going. Perfect, and that is time. Okay, we're now going to move to our hamstring exercise. So this one here, we're going to go from that elephant walk. We're now going to work on kind of both legs at the same time. So I want you to again start in that forward fold pike position, reach as far down as you can. Then we're going to squat down as far as you can do. If you can get all the way down to the ground, that's great. If you're up here, absolutely fine. Feel the legs are on the stomach, and then you're going to press back to the pike. And we're going to try and keep that contact. So we're just going to move in and out. So squat down, press back out, reach down into the hamstring stretch, pause for 2 or 3 seconds, and then repeat. And do 45, 60 seconds here in total. So each time, pausing the hamstrings for a few seconds. Squat down, stomach on thighs, extend the legs, try to keep that contact, keep reaching down. Another 10 seconds. And then pause in that pike, shake it off, and come back down to that starting position. Okay, so last time with the side plank, we had elbow going up and down. We had straight arm for the harder variation going up and down. We're going to make things slightly harder now. So we're going to go from 2 legs to single leg. So I want you to keep the top leg, so the opposite side to the arm, is going to stay on the ground. And then you're going to try and lift this second leg up to 90 degrees. So it's going to put more strain on that adductor. If this is too hard for you, then just stick to the original drills. Or if it's quite hard, do this as many as you can, and then finish the duration of the time with an easier progression. And again, if you want to make things harder, we go to a straight arm position. 45 seconds per side. Let's go. So lifting the leg up, we get more work in this adductor. It's a little bit more intense. All the way down. Nice stretch. Lift back up. About halfway. Remember, there's no harm if it's getting too hard. Switch to an easier variation, and then finish the set with good control, good quality of reps. Last one here. Right, left hand side, same thing. Straight in the top leg if you can do. And we're going to do 45 seconds again. Slow, controlled. Lowering, feeling the stretch over the adductor, stretch over the side. About halfway now. Again, reduce the intensity if you need to complete the set duration. Last 10 seconds. Last one hit. Beautiful. A nice stretch for the adductors. I'm going to do so with a standing pancake. So we're coming to our pike position, but we're going to walk the feet out. So we go as wide as feels comfortable. Support ourselves with the hands. We're going to reach down, try to get as far down as we can. Hold for a few seconds. Come back up to the hand supporting. Wiggle the feet out a little bit. Far down as you can. Hold for a few seconds. Back up. Wiggle the feet out. Then we're just going to keep going as far or as wide as we can. Remember, once you get to the point at which it feels like pretty much max, that's fine. I'm just going to hold there. I'm going to do some reps with the hands assisting, just moving in and out of that stretch. So another 10 seconds. These rest period stretches are starting to feel more like exercises. Right, cool. Feel free to spend a little bit more time in that one if you want to. The last set of the bird dogs. Now, as I mentioned, the only real way to make this harder, so you lift that knee up and you try and like tackle that balance aspect. As we've done with the other sets, try the harder one first and then go to the easy one as you get tired. So again, 45 seconds per side. Remember, we're trying not to twist, not to compensate. This one's quite a bit harder. Okay, if it gets too hard, let's come back to that original bird dog position. Remember, trying not to arch, try to keep that belly button pulled in. Lift those hands and legs up as high as you can do. Last rep here per side. Swap to the other side. So, again, 45 seconds, start with the harder one. Let's go. So pause in, nice controlled. 1 or 2 seconds in each the bottom and the top, high as you can. Last 15 seconds. The last rep here. Nice tall lift and relax. Okay, so our final stretch. Turn up the intensity of the hip flexor stretch. Come forward into that lunge position. We come down low, and you're gonna try shift back, try to grab the heel, the ankle of that back leg. And then again, using the glute, now push ourselves forward. Feeling a more intense stretch now over the hip flex, over the quad. Go as deep as you can. If you can do now, we're gonna hold this 45 seconds per side again. I want you to think about trying to pull that ankle towards the glute of the back leg. So the more you pull, the more intense the stretch is going to be. Keep going. Another 10 seconds here. Now relax. Now swap sides. Go back to that right hand side, left leg forward. Rock back, try to grab that ankle. Shift yourself forward. Think about pressing those hips down and forward. Again, trying to pull that ankle towards your bum. And just breathe. This was a little bit of a cool down stretch at this point. Keep going. Another 15 seconds here. Nice stretch over that hip flexor, quad. Try to get that heel to your bum. 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Both knees coming back. Tuck the toes. Let's sit back into the child's pose. Now, if you don't feel satisfied and you want to do a little bit more, feel free to repeat this one more time. So 3 total sets of all of the core movements and all of the stretches. It's quite an effective flexibility core session in a short duration. As always, if you enjoyed this one, then please hit that thumbs up button, support the channel. Right next to it is that subscribe button, so you don't miss out on any more future videos. And if you enjoyed this one, I don't usually do sort of core training or sort of more workout style videos, let me know, and I'll happily do more in the future. Other than that, catch you next one. Have a strong week. Peace.